Hey, this is me building a $3 million a year business in public and documenting every step. The way I always do these videos is I start on with some YouTube comment Q&A, then I do some building and strategizing in public before finally showing you guys some growth stats across my YouTube, Instagram, and products. The whole idea there is just to give you guys an actual look into what building a brand of my size looks like and the various things that I'm focused on. So if you don't know who I am, the main channel here has 169K subs almost. This is the daily updates channel here, where I posted a cool video where I was getting interviewed by Alex Hormozy and Sam Ovens the other day. That popped the hell off. In terms of the daily Q&A, all I do is I scroll all the way down to the very bottom and just answer the very last question that I can find. So let us see, what is the last question on this daily updates channel? Looks like it's from Ziad Dadel Scaleflow. Hopefully I didn't butcher your name, my man. He says, "Hey Nick, great to see you building in public. It's valuable. Highly respect your work ethic. Thank you. Thank you. I wanted to ask you regarding the variable costs you mentioned before in a different video on the channel, like Appify. Shouldn't the client mainly be the one charged for the variable cost?" Yes, that's right. Client should definitely be the one charged for costs like these platforms. Simplest and easiest way to do things is just getting them to sign up and then giving them some sort of affiliate code or giving them some sort of, ideally some sort of discount code that you could frame to their benefit as like, hey, I'm an Appify partner. And as a result of being an Appify partner, I get preferred rates to all of this stuff. So here's a code. Okay? I understand your points about the rest of this, where you're saying, even if I handled all the costs, what is the use case where I need to handle $30 to $300 for something like Appify? If I'm doing it for myself, the scraped data will be mainly used by me, so it'd be worth paying it. Just can't visualize or think of how my business would be in the situation where I need to handle such costs. Yeah, fair enough. Totally get you. Really, there's Appify for you that you pay for, that you scrape your own leads for, and all that stuff. Then there's Appify that you set up for a client, and then the client pays for it all and stuff like that. And to be clear, when I say you set up for the client, I mean like the client sets up, you guide them through that process on a kickoff call. Hopefully that helps. David says, since you do this daily, I'd love to know your camera setup since you share your screens. Is it like a 2-camera setup? Are you able to share your screen and also show up on the bottom while keeping the quality high? Yeah, it's called OBS, which is Open Broadcast Studio, I believe. Let me show you what this looks like. 1 second. I have to change this setting to show OBS. So this is actually what I'm looking at right now. So the reason why you see this infinite screen thing that just mirrors over and over and over again is because this is like my screen. Like this is recording what I'm looking at right now. But if I could just like move this off to the side, you'd see, your name and the comment and stuff like that. And you'd still see my face in the bottom right-hand corner. So basically what I do is I have a bunch of different scenes set up. On this left-hand side, if I click on this main one, it's going to go to my full face. Then if I go and I click on the one immediately to the right of it, this little screen share plus, then it'll go to that. And then if I click on this blurred screen one, I set up this other one a while ago, which I clearly haven't actually handled. Sorry about that. Where it also blurs my screen in case I need to do something that's like maybe client sensitive or so on and so forth, but I don't really want to like have to re-record the video to do it, right? So let me just set that up so that it's nice and perfect for next time. I'd say that looks about right. What do you guys think? Maybe a little bit over to the left, huh? There you go. Okay, so that's more or less how it works. And then I just use hotkeys. So Command-Shift-1, Command-Shift-2, Command-Shift, I think 0. Yeah, just over and over and over and over again. And then that's how I'm able to consistently do this at such high quality without having to, actually edit any of these videos, which is great. So the whole idea is to keep my production value down, or production value as high as humanly possible while keeping my production time down on the order of about 20 minutes for these daily updates now. Hopefully that makes sense. Got a microphone here, Samsung Q2U, and then I have my camera directly ahead of me. That's about it. Pretty straightforward. Dumb161 says, I know it's hard to answer, but when do you think this business model will be too saturated? I had everything ready to start, but I won't be able to legally start this business until summer 2026 when share the reasons for privacy purposes. When do I think this business model will be too saturated? Too saturated to do what? That's the main question here. If you're trying to make $20,000 a month or something like that, I believe that there's space in virtually any industry to make $20,000 a month. You see people starting web design agencies. Web design has been around for the last 30 years or so. And then, in 3 or 4 months, they run $20,000 a month agencies, assuming they know what they're doing. So there's space in literally every vertical and every niche for companies of a specific size. Now, if you wanted to start like a world-changing AI automation agency and make $50 million a year with that company, probably not going to be able to do that in like 2027 because there will be tools that do this sort of thing for you en masse. And then most of the easy market share will probably have been swooped up by like people that are catering towards enterprise providers or just big companies like OpenAI and Anthropic and stuff like that as well. But yeah, I'm almost confident for your case. You probably don't want to start a $50 million a year AI automation agency. Who knows? Maybe you do. Maybe I'm putting words in your mouth. I definitely fucking don't. That sounds terrible. So yeah, there's always room in the market for another $20,000 a month entrant. Iker says, when it comes to you dripping your course inside the classroom, do you drip each day for every month? No, once a month. Yeah. So you unlock month 2 on like day 32, I think. That's how it works. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me just drink some of this coffee before it gets cold. I always do this. Why do I always do this? Dang, that's the good stuff. Sahil says, very inspired by the knowledge you provide. I want to ask a question. I'm 17 and I made practice automations and systems for better understanding AI. But now I want clients and I want to outreach. But I don't know how. Can you give me advice on how I can start my outreach to find my initial client? Because I want to join Maker School with my self-earned income. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Bootstrap it, baby. Straightest line path, the one that I usually recommend is getting on Upwork, which is like a very straightforward sort of problem to solve. On this platform, people will actually post job requests. They'll basically look for freelancers to fulfill AI automation needs, and then they'll actually write out exactly what they want and like, how much money they're willing to pay for it. Then all you do as a freelancer is you just like show why you're different than other freelancers. It's a very different and much easier problem to solve than like sales in general. So I'd recommend you start there just to get the ball rolling and then get some experience under your belt. Once you're done with that, I'd move over to more scalable outreach methods like cold email. Hopefully that makes sense. Omar says, hey, Nick, wondering if you had any Upwork-specific advice for somebody just starting out. I also recently read your blog the next few months of my career, and I'm in awe. You planned every detail. Haha, I did. Thank you. Do you have any advice on how one can do this in life? Planning success and executing it perfectly. Well, I should note that I didn't plan every detail. I planned 10 times as many details, and then my actual future just happened to be one of the 10 things. So how do I do this in life? I would just do a bunch of stuff, throw a bunch of stuff at the wall, right? Like the big chunk of what made the next few months of my career work as a big strategy document was I ideated a ton of stuff. This was my massive list of things that I did back when I was at $100,000 a month, and I wanted to hit $300,000 or $400,000 a month. So create 4 additional products was one of it. I ended up creating 4 additional products. Not all of those products worked, right? You only see the ones that work and you're like, oh man, you planned every detail. It's like, no, I planned a lot of stuff. And then one of them ended up working. CTA templates for the beginning, middle, and end of my content. Create email sequencer Gumroad. I did that. This was Maker School. This was, I ended up doing quite a bit here, so I'm not going to go into all of it. This was pretty chunky. Yeah, I ended up starting that affiliate network. I did not negotiate increased percentage cuts with all of them, but I did with a few. So not all 5. I did sponsorship strategy. Yeah, this month it'll make me, I think $30,000 or something like that. I have to tabulate. I think we made $95,500 now in total from the sponsorship. And we started like 2 months ago. That's in revenue. I don't think that's fully collected. I did that. I did that. I did that. I didn't do that, unfortunately, but I ended up just hiring editors, so I didn't really need to do that. I did that. One thing I just started doing is I started posting on LinkedIn. So check this out, 1,158 likes on this post here. That's pretty chunky, huh? Kind of neat. So the whole idea is when you diversify your follower base across platforms, you're no longer just reliant on one. So for whatever reason, I don't know, like YouTube bans you or shadow bans you or something happens with your YouTube account, then you still have access to most of your followers and other platforms because you've diversified it, right? And these also all feed back into each other. And also the one variable that is the most important when you're growing a following or any sort of business is just time that passes, right? So the time's going to pass anyway. You might as well be posting on all these platforms, assuming that you've figured the core ones out. I haven't done the Twitter strategy yet or TikTok strategy, but in the Instagram Reel strategy, I did that. And now I have an Instagram Reel thing that's almost 300,000 subs, right? LinkedIn strategy, that's what we're doing now. Yeah, anyway, I'll just leave it there. But suffice to say, I basically just like tried doing 10 times as many things and then one of the 10 worked. So that'd be my recommendation for you too, man. And you're not going to execute it perfectly, to be clear. Nick, do you still look for new clients for your agency or do you fully focus on YouTube and Maker School right now? Yeah, I'm still looking for new clients for my agency for sure. We onboarded somebody, I guess a week ago now, and I just sent out a proposal to the royal family, which was pretty cool. Fingers crossed on that. I think I underpitched, which is surprising for me. I don't normally do that, but we'll see how that goes. I just really wanted an into that market. So still very much looking for new clients for my agency. I'm still very much in talks and I do sales calls and stuff like that. Also, would you say med spa, wellness clinics, etc. are a good niche? I'd say they're okay. They're not necessarily my first go-to just because they're local and it's probably a little harder to scrape. They're probably also not making a ton of money. Hey, Miles, what's going on, big dog? Miles is in Maker School and he runs a similar community called Evolve, I believe. Congrats on hitting 10K on this channel. Thank you, man. Not really in the AS space, but watching this series become part of my daily routine. Very cool to see you pull back the curtain on what you do and your mindset. Keep going. It's inspiring. I guess I'll throw a question out there since I'm here. What inspired you to start the daily updates? And what stage in your journey did you start them? Would you have started them earlier? And if you were to start them again without a following, what would you talk about? Or would you just wait until you had a following? Thanks. Yeah, great call. So I should note that I basically was doing daily updates as my YouTube channel at the very beginning. If you go over to the main channel here, the strategy was to post every single day for a month and a half or something along those lines. And I ended up doing that. So how do I do this? We haven't posted anything in a while. So Jesus, I don't even remember how to use this freaking thing. Okay, let's go chop chop. Okay, so way back over here, February the 7th, I believe, I started posting once a day, every single day. After about, 2 weeks, I found some big success. And I continued doing this for about a month and a bit. And right around here, I stopped. And it's not like I stopped posting, I just stopped being that consistent. So then I sort of subsisted in the middle ground of YouTube, the gray area, the limbo, so to speak. And, if I'd continued posting, I'd probably be all the way up here by now. But hey, what are we going to do, right? Hindsight's 2020. So I found really good success posting daily. And then anyway, what I ended up doing was, if I go here, on my birthday in 2025, so a little under a year later, when I was at 45,000 subs in the main channel, I decided I'd start tracking. I started doing the same thing on this daily updates channel because I ran into sort of an upper limit where I wanted to talk about business stuff. And I also just wanted to provide lower quality. And when I say lower quality, I just mean less structured content. Because that's, where I started and stuff like that. I was just having a hard time justifying that on the main channel now because people's expectations were a little bit higher. And, if you post a shitty piece of content, you actually can damage your channel now because there's unsubscribes and stuff like that. So yeah, my very first video on the daily updates channel, if you want to check it out, because this, I actually just discuss everything here. I go all the way down to, this is going to be forever. Can I just sort this? No, I don't think I can. That sucks. Let's just go YouTube and then let's go Nick Saraev daily. There you go. Let's scroll oldest. Let's see this. This started here where I decided I would do some out loud business strategization on how I would create another $39,000 per month right after my ability. I had done some big thing, and the main reason why was because content was taking too long, as you can see here. And I didn't really want to spend a bunch of time. And then I'm not serving my audience as well as I could be because my audience was split up between people that wanted to learn automation and then people that wanted to learn entrepreneurial stuff. So I thought I'd just make this channel for the entrepreneurial stuff. Plus, I just love doing new things. Or would I wait until I had a following? Yeah. No, I just talk about whatever the hell I wanted for a long enough time, and eventually people would come. It's just how it always has been. I think if you're good at what you do and you just talk about stuff a lot, then yeah, people will eventually come. And you should just talk about stuff a lot. Hopefully that makes sense, Mal. Sorry for giving you that unstructured answer there, but I think the answers you seek, you can parse out of that big yap fest. Kevin Newbick says, Nick the Goat, see you at the top. Hell yeah, my brother. Thank you very much. Imad says, if you can do a video about watching build AI automation without social proof, you don't use your name or your family, get a client that pays you. We really love to see how you do it if you're in our shoes as a beginner. Thank you for the last advice and guidance you gave. Yeah, for sure. I mean, what am I going to do here, man? Put a mustache on and be like, hello, my name's Sick Naraev. How's it going? People are going to recognize me, right? So I can't really do that. Unfortunately, the platform that I recommend people start with too, Upwork, bans the hell out of you if you try and create a new one. So do I want to compromise this Upwork profile that is still active and still making me money? No, I don't. So I get where you're coming from here, and I've tried doing this a number of times. But if you check back on my Upwork applications or whatever, way back, I think 2 weeks ago when I was doing consistent daily Upwork apps, 3 weeks ago and showing you guys what that process looks like, notice that at no point in time did I mention my big YouTube channel. And I did that on purpose. I chose a bunch of social proof that anybody here could get probably within a week or so. The N8N creator page, for instance, or starting some agency and having a website on it or that sort of stuff. Okay. So hopefully that gives you enough insight into what that looks like. Thank you, Potato. Harshit, thank you, my man. Your emojis are always getting cooler and cooler. Hey man, says Ali, great content. Not exactly a business or automation topic, but you mentioned a couple times the importance of skincare. What is your skincare routine? What do you use? How did you become aware of it? Was it an image advisor? I guess it might be common for popular YouTubers, family, or so. I don't know what an image advisor is. Yeah, I don't have a shadow counsel that guides me on my skincare. My skin ain't looking too hot right now, my man. So it's interesting that you're saying that to me. Yeah, I just did a bunch of chat GPTing, if I'm honest. I probably have the thread that I could pull up, but I was basically just hello, I would like to optimize X, Y, and Z aspects of my skin. How can I make this better? And then it just ran me through a bunch of stuff. And one of the recommendations was tretinoin, which is a prescription product here in Canada, which is a pain in the ass to get. So consulted with some doctor and I was like, hey, I want to do this for my skin health. And then he was like, all right. And they gave me some tretinoin. And turns out I was just overusing the hell out of it, which is why my skin is still sort of recovering. I was like blasting it with like tret every single day for like a month. But, I want to retain my youthful glow for as long as humanly possible. So yeah, tretinoin is a big one. And then just moisturizing in the morning and the evenings. Turns out sunscreen is the real high value thing to do. So just wear sunscreen every day and you'll look like Halle Berry when you're 60 probably. Leveraging your brand so you don't have to pay people savage, says Jared. Yeah. Hey, Jared, my comment was in your video. It was. Okay, let's do one more. Minaj says, here's my plan. From August, learning workflow automation, building, learn basic stuff, consumer content, Nick. November, join Maker School. Reinvest all the profit into lead gen. Here's my basic calculation. Okay, cool. So is your plan okay? No, I don't think so at all. You're making way too far out a plan, man. Like, dude, who's to say that who's to say that any of this stuff is even going to matter in like 4 months, man? Like, I'm not trying to get you to join Maker School immediately, but nah, you shouldn't budget your plan to be 3 months of learning automations. You should budget your plan to be like, the next week I'm going to learn automations. And on August the 9th, I'm going to start talking to customers. Like, that's the only thing that matters. You should not be planning things out in this way because there is no certainty in a world that is evolving as rapidly as ours that your plan will even be feasible in 3 or 4 months. Okay, so no, I wouldn't do this. I don't think this is a good plan, Minaj. I don't think that makes any sense. I understand why you're saying this, but you don't know what you don't know, and what you don't know is the bulk of all knowledge right now. The proportion of everything right now for you is it's overwhelmingly just what you don't know. So yeah, you're trying to just extrapolate this based off the time that you spend. This is most probably one deal closed and blah, 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 blah. You're not even thinking about the fulfillment. Listen, man, scrap all this and just spend a week learning my automation content. Go through one of my tutorials. And on next Saturday, when you find yourself with some available time, sign up to an Upwork profile, get yourself some cold emails, start recording like cold DMs via Loom, and just start interacting with the market. Because an ounce of actual feedback from the market is worth a ton of planning and strategy like you're doing here. Okay? Do you use Loom to record this video? I don't know. Did I? No, I did not. I used OBS Studio. I really like it when you talk in a narcissistic. I do like talking narcissistically. Okay, great. And then Jeff asks, what software did I use to record this, Zoom or Loom? No, I did OBS Studio. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. Let me now jump over to what I wanted to talk about today, which is my LinkedIn strategy. We are popping off on LinkedIn, ladies and gentlemen. Things are crushing. Check this out. This is me introducing myself on LinkedIn. Got 182,000 post impressions in the last 7 days, I think. 43,600 views in the feed. Then a bunch of people here were really stoked about it and saying hello and so on and so forth. That was pretty great. So if you guys have commented on this, I really appreciate it. Yeah, it was a very nice drop to LinkedIn. This is pulled away from some of the time that I want to spend on other platforms, but I think it was worth it. I mean, like the diversification like we're talking about here is making sense. And yeah, like almost 1,200 likes in that post. I think that's pretty positive given the fact that I have like 10,000 followers. So if you just think about it in that way, that's what? More than 10% of my following base liking that post. Generally speaking, I don't think you get numbers that good. There's some changes that I like to make up here. So we should change the cover photo for sure. Maybe we should change a couple of other photos. Probably this. There's no reason not to. Speaking of which, I should probably update that because we have so many more way higher quality wins now, and they're much more recent than this. But yeah, that's that. And then, yeah, I mean, like things are going pretty well. I, one of my big things on the most recent blog post that I wrote was about my health. So, like it's been like 5 days consistently at the gym or something like that. I don't know, since the last time that I talked about it. So things are good on that front. And I'm logging my meals with Macro Factor, which is fun. I'm up like 2.5 pounds. The vast majority of that's probably water weight, probably actually only up like 1/4 pound. And I can just feel the consistency and the routine start setting in again. I'm feeling very good about that. Was a little under the weather the other day, but what are you going to do? Got a bunch of subs and stuff like that. Saw a couple friends, which is nice. So yeah, just getting into that more holistic, high quality life that I wrote about in the blog post. And it's only been a few days, which is awesome. So I think I'm going to leave it there. Let's wrap up with some brand stats. Call this 20 minutes even. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to track my growth on YouTube This has been an unbroken chain, almost unbroken, since February the 1st. We're now at August the 2nd. Almost unbroken, I say, as I break the chain. So I'm going to go to my main channel here. 168,954 subscribers now. And then this is my Instagram channel, which is 295,284. We're just under 300K. And then this is my daily updates channel here, which you guys are currently following, which has, I guess I can't see it there. Probably see it here a little better, right? 10,596, which has grown quite a lot as well. And now what I want to do is I just want to grab one of these formulas. I think it's like here, probably. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. This is just interpolates the data between this and this. And that's how it fills in that. So yeah, it looks like I've grown something like 477,500 a day for the last 2 days, which is cool. It's about a 0.3% growth rate, much lower than my initial projections of 0.8. If you guys still remember back in the day, I was like, I could probably continue growing at a 0.82% growth rate. Extrapolated like 1 billion subscribers by the end of the year. Thank you, magic law of compounding. But that's okay. One thing that I could start tracking now is my LinkedIn growth as well, but maybe I'll leave it for now. Cool. Really appreciate it. Thank you guys very much for watching. As always, looking forward to tomorrow. And if you guys have any questions, then feel free to drop them on the comments thread section of any video, and I will eventually get back to them as I did today.